Hello, this is Jose with Advanced Test Equipment Corporation, and today we are going to be going over the California Instruments Asterion Series AC and DC power supply. A cool feature of the Asterion Series power supply is that it is a very dense unit that can be utilized for all your testing needs. This device can be run between 1 to 3 phases. It can be linked to be run in parallel with multiple Asterion devices for higher testing needs. It has a handy, easy to use touchscreen and can be configured with aerospace and military testing standards. For today's video, we are specifically going to be going over the model number 2253 that has 2.2 kV 8 output. A cool feature of this device is that it can be connected with a single phase 115 volt 15 amp outlet that is found throughout your testing site. In the video, we're going to be going over a front panel overview, rear panel overview, plus we will be conducting AC and DC tests. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's get started. Now we are going to go over the front panel view of the California Instruments Asterion AC and DC power supply. First, this will be the on and off switch for the device, and it's really easy to activate just by pressing it on and off. Afterwards, we are going to go over the light indicators of the Asterion device. Whenever we are conducting high voltage tests, the high range light will be turned on. Whenever we're conducting constant current and constant voltage tests, these lights will turn on. Whenever we are controlling the device remotely, the remote light will turn on, or whenever there is a fault on the test, the fault light will turn on. Lastly, whenever the LXI is activated, the LXI light will turn on. The Asterion has an intuitive touchscreen feature which can be controlled using your hand or a stylus. If you do not feel like using the touchscreen feature, the Asterion also has an easy to use knob which you can use to control the device. Lastly, whenever you're ready to conduct your test and output power, you can just hit the output button right here. Now we are going to be going over the back panel view of the power supply. This is going to be the AC input connection port. This over here will be the AC and DC output terminal block, remote sense connection port, Ethernet, RS-232, and USB connection ports. And lastly, we have some additional input ports to the power supply. Before we run our AC test, we have to ensure we have the proper setup complete. First, we have our Asterion connected to an AC load bank, which is connected to our oscope. The oscope has a current and voltage monitoring probes. Now let's jump into setting up our Asterion for our AC load test. Before we conduct our AC test, we must first go to the dashboard to select our settings for the test. We are first going to verify the frequency selected. In this case, we're going to be selecting 60 Hz. Confirm that by hitting OK. Afterwards, we verify that we're running the Asterion on AC mode. Select, go back using this button, and now we confirm the voltage range. We're going to hit this button, select 200 VAC as the voltage range since we are conducting a low voltage range test. If we were selecting a high voltage range test, we will select 400 VAC. we continue by confirming that we are utilizing phase A, 115 volts, and we're going to be drawing 5 amps of current. Since our test will be we will be drawing approximately 3 to 4 amps. So 5 works well for this test. Continue. So everything is now set. In order to conduct the test, we are now going to hit the output button right here to commence the test. As you can see, the Asterion is now showing the voltage and amps for the test. My assistant is now going to turn on our AC load. As you can see now, we are drawing 115 volts with 4.7 amps during our test. Now, we are going to be going back to the home menu and going over the other functions of the Asterion. We can go ahead and look at our output programs that go over phase number, voltage, frequency, current, phase, DC offset, voltage range, voltage mode, waveform, start phase A, and regulation. We're going to go back to the home menu by hitting this button, and now we're going to be looking at the measurements. We're going to select this by hitting it on the Asterion, and we're going to go ahead and look at the voltage being conducted in our test. It confirms that we are doing 115 volts. Go back to the menu using this button. Now we're going to confirm the frequency. We are now conducting a frequency measurement of 60 Hertz. Go back. Now we're going to confirm the current. This confirms that we are drawing approximately 4.75 amps of current. Go back using this button. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the power. Now that everything looks good, go back, and now we're going to look at the phase. Perfect. Now we're going to be measuring the power factor, and it confirms that we are drawing. Now we're going to be looking at the crest factor. We are now going to be going back to the home menu, and the Asterion also has the option to look at transients, configuration, control interface, protection, applications, and system settings. So for the next demonstration, we have our Asterion running as a DC power supply, which we have connected to a DC load. Additionally, we have this oscilloscope connected to a voltage and current probes, which we use to verify the DC output of the Asterion. So now we are going to be running our DC supply. So the first step in the process will be hitting the dashboard button. Thereafter, we will select our mode. Currently, we have it on AC mode. And we will now switch this to our DC voltage setting. We hit DC, hit this button, and it will take us back to the dashboard button. Thereafter, we will select our voltage range. The Asterion has the capability of going for a 250 voltage setting up to a 500 voltage range setting. If you select the 500 voltage range setting, the high voltage light will illuminate. Since we're conducting a low voltage test, we will select the 250 voltage range setting. You'll hit this button to go back to the dashboard menu, and now we will select our voltage right here. We'll hit this button, select our voltage, and we will be utilizing a 12 volt setting. So hit 12, OK, and it will take you back to the dashboard menu. Thereafter, we will be selecting our current limit. We'll hit this button right here and select a setting of 5 amps. We select OK, and it takes us back to the dashboard menu. Now we're ready to do the output. We will select this button right here, and the Asterion will be outputting the DC voltage. My assistant will now initiate the load. As you can see here, this line is measuring 12 volts on our voltage channel, and this line is measuring 2 amps on our current channel after our current probes correction factors. Thank you for watching our video. If you like the equipment you saw, or are interested in renting, purchasing, or calibrating your equipment, make sure to visit our site at www.ateccorp.com.